Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Aaron Welch of Lift Digital. How's it going, Aaron?
And it's going great. How are you doing?
I am really good and I'm really happy to have you here. I would love to just start this off, Aaron, by understanding a little bit more about your background and a little bit more about Lift Digital.
Yeah, certainly. I am a Marine Corps veteran, so I served in the late 90s, hence the gray in my beard. But I was the only guy in the barracks with a computer in 98 and 99, asking the other folks for their AOL disks to get more time. I was just a very early adopter to the internet, and it very much carried over. I started my digital marketing career in late 2000, early 2001.
Wow.
So very early on in the game where we would go and beg people to give us a sliver of their print or radio or TV budgets to be able to prove that this internet thing wasn't a fad.
Yeah.
So I started my first agency in 2002 and have been doing digital marketing ever since. That agency, we actually raised capital, expanded, sold that agency off.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I worked for several years in corporate America at Fortune 50 companies for and with. So I got the network experience, the agency experience, the I guess brand side or client side experience and global marketing. And then after getting downsized a couple of times from being in corporate America, which is how it goes sometimes, I started Lift Digital Marketing.
Wow.
Next week, we'll make our 7th year anniversary.
Wow, congrats. And first of all, thank you for your service. That's amazing. I'm curious, how does somebody, this isn't the traditional path, right? Despite being good at computers, right? And just liking that whole aspect of it, how does one go from that to being like, you know what, let me get into marketing, especially in 2001, 2002, which is completely different than marketing is today.
Oh, absolutely. My goodness. My first job in marketing was for a small law firm, and they had some really outdated processes. They were doing a lot of things by hand, even crazy stuff like paying a printer $50 per ream of paper to have their letterhead on the paper. It was like, let me just digitize this design, put it at in the header of Microsoft Word, and it took an hour.
Uh,
And then I started saving them hundreds of dollars a month,
wow.
like mail merge and sending paper letters to people who had just started an LLC.
Yeah.
And within 6 weeks, they had to hire two new lawyers because they were crushed with business.
Oh my God.
Uh, my next job was actually in sales for an online mall. So we were literally, you remember the map? Okay, remember malls.
Yeah.
You remember the map of the mall where it
Yeah.
showed all the different, we were selling that real estate on their website.
Wow.
That
Wow.
was, it was mall.com. So look
Uh,
like 2000, 2001 mall.com.
yeah.
And we were just selling real estate on the website. And I was very good at that, but I met the people who were in charge of getting traffic to the website.
Mhm.
And that was what really interested me, the puzzle of how do we get traffic to the website? It was very early on in PPC, so this is before Google AdWords.
Yeah.
So we were using Overture and Find What and
Oh,
bidding on keywords. And
yeah.
that was it for me. I was totally hooked. I don't know, a year later, me and the other top salesperson at mall.com started our own agency
Wow.
in
And
2002.
and so having been in the game for a while, what are some of the biggest changes you've observed from then to now?
Everything. When I started, it was like the beginning, like of search engines.
Right.
There were a bunch, but this new upstart called Google, it was just delivering better results. And
Yeah.
then Google started monetizing. So I was actually a beta tester for Google Ads.
Oh wow.
And nobody was using it. God, keywords were so cheap. The cost per lead was
Yeah.
nothing. It was great back in the day.
Yeah.
but there was no playbook. So we literally had to test
Yeah.
everything and
Yeah.
learn the hard way.
Yeah.
There was no playbook. Digital marketing was still a decade away from being taught in college,
Yeah.
at the college level. So it was a lot of trial and error, and being curious and reading as much as possible.
Yeah.
And now, and, and honestly, that was in 2002. You know, what, 7 years later, social media upends everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
We used to buy, back in the day, we were buying ads on MySpace. Tom was in my top eight.
Yeah.
Tila Tequila was in my top eight, if you're
Yeah.
that old.
Yes. I remember.
Uh, so that was the beginning of that. And Facebook opened up. And then this burgeoning, weird business style social media called LinkedIn was a couple of years later.
Yeah.
And so there have been just monumental changes, and even as simple as budget allocation. Like back then, when we started the agency and got our first investment, we were hiring people from print and radio because they were vaguely familiar with the concept
Yeah.
of cost per thousand ads,
Yeah.
or like proof of delivery. So we would take a screenshot, and that would be our tear sheet, if you will. So everything has changed dramatically. Even how Google works, you can't keyword stuff. You can't write the same keywords in the same color as the background 500 times.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's really interesting because you were truly in a golden age. Of course, that had its positives and its negatives, and I think you stated that really on that you had to figure out everything yourself, and there weren't really rock stars to hire that knew everything. You had to just hire somebody who knew the basics. But
yeah,
even now, as new platforms come out, it's not the same as platforms coming out back then, because when social media came out, Facebook specifically, they started letting you advertise on there. CPMs were super cheap. But even a new platform coming out now, like TikTok, CPMs are not cheap right off the bat. They've got like a baseline price, so it's not the same. And it's back then. I wish I'd been old enough to capitalize on that, but it's really interesting to see how it comes out because people have a general idea of the market and how much people are willing to pay for impressions.
absolutely. There is an industry and there is a standard.
Yeah,
And now all of digital marketing, it's not internet marketing anymore, because even the advent of the smartphone changed everything again. Yeah, even budget, like digital marketing dwarfs all three of those older mediums.
yeah, yeah,
Dwarfs it. Viewership, eyeballs, reach, time on screens. My God, I have a 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, and we got to work
yeah,
keeping them off screens.
yeah,
And just me, I've been doing this for so long. I am on a screen all day. And
yeah.
if I'm not on the computer screen, I'm probably on my mobile phone. And then I'm telling my kids to get off their screens. So sometimes I get called on it.
Yeah, yeah. So, Aaron, what types of clients do you serve now? Small, medium, large? Is there any specific industries? How does that kind of look for you?
Yeah. So after my experience in corporate America and making billion-dollar companies just more money, went back to the basics, small or local and regional businesses, because doing good work for them is so much more meaningful, like
Yeah,
very relationship driven. So you can really see the impact of good work for them. It affects their families. It affects their employees in a way that driving $1 billion in business,
yeah,
or a company that's making $300 billion a year, nobody even notices.
yeah,
So there's a bit of selfishness there for me.
yeah,
And it's much more collaborative. You get to move faster. Bureaucracy, there's not a lot of innovation at that level because the stakes are so high. Being
yeah,
smaller, you get to be more nimble and more creative,
yeah.
which is more fun for me. It's the fun part. So we focus on service-based businesses because we're a service-based business.
Mhm.
So that's accountants, CPA firms, lawyers, law firms. I'm not afraid of lawyers. I'm married to one. IT services companies, healthcare providers, not so much on the doctors, but chiropractors, therapists, counselors, those kind of folks.
Mhm.
Veteran-owned businesses, obviously, because I'm a veteran-owned business.
Yeah.
And we try to do as much work with nonprofits as we can. There's a couple of great programs. Google still does good things. They offer nonprofits $10,000 a month in Google ad grants for
Mm.
them to use to gain awareness, try to fundraise, things of that nature. So I love setting
Yeah.
up folks with that sort of thing.
So how has your military background influenced the way you approach like client relationships and client work, you think?
It's definitely a big influence. We're very transparent. We only work in our clients' accounts. So that's the thing we're running into more and more often is we are literally rescuing clients from agencies or providers who have locked them into long-term contracts
Mhm.
on a lot of times proprietary platforms, and they literally don't even own the content on their websites, which I think is just
Yeah.
atrocious.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say so, which is another reason why it didn't work out well in corporate America. Transparency, honesty, you know, if we make a mistake, we actually say, hey, we screwed up.
Mhm.
We fix it. We make the relationship, we treat our clients more like partners
Right.
because we want those long-term relationships without the long-term contracts.
Yeah.
So we do a 30-day rolling marketing services agreement.
Oh,
And if you hate us, fire us. You're not locked in.
yeah.
Yeah. It lowers their risk to try us because at this point, like back in the beginning, we were begging people to give us a chance or give like internet marketing a chance.
Yeah.
Now everybody has been burned 4 or 5
Yes.
times
Yeah.
from people who overpromise and underdeliver. There's literally no barrier to entry into this industry.
Yeah.
So it can be somebody with a one-page website and a free social media page saying, I've got 20 years of experience.
Yeah.
I love I've got 35 years of web design experience. Bro, pictures haven't been on the internet that long. Nice try.
Yeah.
We run into that a lot.
Yeah.
So
Especially
th-
service-based businesses, it's a big thing. And you're totally right that it was for a while, I think in 2016, 2017, it was the thing to do was to start an agency because
oh yeah.
like low barrier to entry. And but as a consequence, a lot of people got burned. But I love that you guys do the rolling contracts. I think things like transparency, honesty, just doing good work. I think simple skills in a service-based business. And
Yeah.
that's awesome that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, it's really our sweet spot. And paid media now is such, again, a big change. It used to be accessible, it used to be practical, affordable, and it's just not anymore. The Google and Facebook and other folks have inflated their CPCs, their CPMs. Conversion rates are down, CPCs are up. So their ROI just isn't what it used to be. I started this industry doing paid search, and now I've got one client doing it, and we don't even do it ourselves.
Wow.
So that a lot of local, a lot of social outreach, and not the kind where I can fill your pipeline with 10 to 20 qualified clients a month.
Yeah.
And I literally get 5 of those a day. I'm like, first of all, you can't. And second of all, I do this.
Yeah.
So your
Yeah.
targeting is clearly off because you targeted me.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it went from everybody starting an agency, and then the people who couldn't do the agency, then they moved on to the next thing, which was getting leads for agencies. And
Yes.
then there's gonna be getting leads for the people who get leads and all of that stuff. You're starting to see these like lead support companies pop up and everything. So it's really interesting.
And now I've started seeing the trend about how everybody is a prompt engineer
Oh yeah.
and everything is AI driven. Y'all don't know what that means. It's
Yeah.
just the new buzz. Everything's AI.
It's
And it's just such a disservice. I had a potential client meeting yesterday that they were interested in AI generating leads for them. Like, that's not a thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, or this other agency we talked to said that they could do that. They're just lying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's the newest buzzy thing.
Yeah.
And people are going to get burned, and I hate it.
Yeah. And it's unfortunately it exists, and hopefully the market will go through another cycle where people can find good, honest work. And the thing is that small businesses don't have the luxury that large businesses do in terms of, hey, I'm putting an RFP out and we'll have a bunch of people compete and we can pick for the best one based on who does the most amount of work up front for us. Small businesses don't have that luxury. They have to believe what you're telling them, and they just have to pray that you're going to do a good job. And it sounds like, Aaron, you guys usually, if not always, fulfill on that promise. So this has been awesome, Aaron. Where can people learn more about you, and where can people learn more about your agency?
Certainly. So we're Lift Digital Marketing. When you search for our name, we actually show up first, which
Nice.
is
Proof in the pudding.
part of the proof. But the website is Lift, so that's LAFT dash digital.net. Got in late on the name. So we're a .net URL. You can search for me under Aaron M. Welch. So
Okay.
that's, and we help clients with branding, with messaging, with strategy, with planning, websites, content creation, social media marketing. We help folks with their CRMs, with email marketing, the integration of everything. We actually do use AI, but it's a tool. It's not a promise. It's for efficiency. It's not a
Yeah.
magic bullet, just like marketing funnels wasn't a magic bullet about
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're going to get honesty and transparency. Again, we work in our clients' accounts. We're guests there. That's how we treat it.
Nice.
We don't own anything. You pay us for the work we do. You own all the work. And we're about long-term relationships. So
Awesome.
I'm easy to find.
Great. Great to hear. Thanks again for being on, Aaron.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.